Here we go, we're at Dragon Trail Seaside for round 7 of 8 of season 2 of this year's Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Cup. And look at this chicane of death and all the havoc it's causing. You know this thing's always going to have something to do with the outcome of the races when we're racing at Dragon Trail. And I can't wait to show you the footage from my race this weekend in the Gran Turismo World Series. But first, I've got to let you hear another phone call I have from a friend who just did not understand why I couldn't make it out this Friday night to the high school football game. Let's listen in. Hey, this is Martin.
Hey, boy, it's Bubba. I'll pick you up in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I thought I told you, Bubba. I'm not going to be able to make it tonight, buddy.
Not gonna be able to go, you say? Boy, what in the tarnation are you talking about? We always go to high school football games on Friday night. It's the biggest rivalry game of the year. We've been going all our lives. What are you talking about, boy?
I mean, it's like I said, I just can't make it tonight, man. I just something come up and I just can't go. I'm sorry, Bubba.
Boy, we've been watching high school football games, eating ball peanuts and dipping snuff since we was just little kids. What in the world takes place over that now?
Bubba, man, look, I got a race I got to do, okay?
Race? Okay, I hear that, man. What you getting? Late model done got into that dirt track racing, huh?
Dirt track racing? Man, you know I ain't rich. Man, I'm talking about like sim racing. You know, like on a video game.
Sin racing? What in the tarnation? Man, I'm gonna tell the preacher.
Whew, poor Bubba. Man, when they switched these races to Friday night, it really blew my cover, and I've had to tell my friends what it is I've been working so hard at and explain this make-believe car in my office. But either way, all that's beside the point, because we're about to start round 7 of this Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Cup, and here you can see what they call the chicane of death. Now, it can also be the chicane of life, because the thing about this part of the track and this obstacle is it is possible. It is possible. I said it's possible to take it full speed without ever letting your foot off the throttle. But most people are going to at least manage the throttle a little bit, and then some guys are even going to use some brake. And those guys that use the brake, we can beat those guys. Right there is where we can make up time. It can become the chicane of life for us. So let's get right into the race here, and we're going to follow along with the first lap here, just kind of set it up. And let me tell you, it is a race where the fuel usage is set to 6 times the normal use. The tire wear, though, is only 1 time. So tire wear is not an issue. Fuel usage it's all about saving fuel and trying to get as many laps on medium tires as possible. Or in our case, we've got to know how many laps we can do on medium tires, because we're going to start on hard tires, because we did qualify in 5th place. You know, I didn't practice as much this week. I honestly just wasn't quite as fast on this track, but I was good enough to get 5th place, which gives me a chance at the win, definitely a chance at a podium finish. So we're going to try to run 6 laps on the hard tires, and then we're going to try to pit and squeeze the fuel down to the very last drop. I mean, just the last little bit in that tank to get 8 laps, at least for the way I drive. So we're going to be doing a lot of short shifting. You can already see it right there on the screen, is we're going to shift before we hit the red line a lot of times. Not always. Sometimes we do hold it in gear depending on what curves coming up and such, but we're going to try as much as possible to short shift and manage our fuel. That way we can get as many laps as possible on the medium tires. Now, I'll tell you, the guys in front of me here, they are on the medium tires. Every one of them's on medium tires. I think even in the top 10, I was the only car that started the race on hard tires. And for me, I mean, I kind of like being on the hard tires first and then finishing the race with a faster tire. I mean, even running like first place, to me, I don't like being on the good tire, the fast tire, to start the race, because then I feel like everybody's catching up, you know, once they pit and they put on their softer tire. So I kind of feel like, you know, if I can just stay close and stay with these guys, obviously I'm going to have an advantage when I switch to the medium tires. But I am probably going to pit before they do, because they're going to be trying to go, you know, to the 8th lap before they pit, and I'm going to be pitting on lap 6 because they already have their medium tires on. But you can see right here, we're keeping pace pretty good, but you can, the car directly in front of us, the guy is 64 half. He is driving a Mustang Group 4 race car as well, the exact same car. There was actually like 4 Mustangs in this one race, and it was not an OP car for this race. It was not a great car for this race. I will say it was probably like mediocre. It wasn't the worst car to be driving, but it definitely wasn't the best car to be driving. So, you know, a podium finish this week, I will take it. I'll be very happy with a podium finish this week. I never felt like coming in this race I was going for the actual win or anything like that, like we were last week. And we have a couple of times this season when we just blew it. But, you know, we can do pretty good, and if we can get a podium finish. Now, this was my second race of the night. The first race did not end well. I had made it up to third place. I lost control of my car and gave up a lot of positions, then had a wreck later in the race and ended up coming in 12th. So I had to go again. So we're really just fighting here to keep our DR from going down this week, or at least maybe it'll bump up just a little bit if we can get a podium finish, or if a win. If we can get a win, that would be great too. But here we are on lap 6, and as you can look at the leaderboard, nothing has changed. Not in that top 7 or 8, nothing's really changed. So we're going into the pits on the hard tires. All these other guys in the top 10 are on the mediums, and we have stayed pace with them the entire time. So we are actually in really good shape going into the pits on lap 6. The only thing now is, now here we are coming out of the pits to start lap 7, but the only thing now is, can we finish this race without running out of fuel? Because it is going to be a major challenge. I can tell you it's going to be a major challenge. And I know so far we haven't had a lot of action, but trust me, stay tuned in. Don't skip ahead, because the action is about to begin. Because here's where we start to try to make our move and fight for that podium. It looks pretty bad on us because we're in 12th place right now, but you got to remember, nobody else is pitted. I think we're probably the first car to go into the pits. So that's a good sign, because I'm telling you, things are fixing to shape up for us. And here we are, we're going to skip ahead at the end of lap 8. And we're going to we're in position 11 now. We have taken a position and moved up to 11. You can see 10 and 9 are in the pits, and we are passing them. We're up to 9th place. 7 and 8 are in the pits, and here they are coming out of the pits. That is the Mustang that was ahead of me and Joshua. So now we are able to pass them, but that guy he's running fast, and I go wide on the first chicane right here, and he comes up right next to my Mustang. It's Mustang on Mustang, but you got to remember, he's now on the hard tires and we're on the medium tires, and we pull ahead and take back the lead right here to maintain our position. Now we're going into turn 4. We've secured the position, locked it down, and he's right on our rear end, but he's on those hard tires. Let's get another look at it right here from my cockpit. You can see he pulls right up there about halfway in that passenger side window, but he just can't pull ahead because he's on those hard tires. And here it is again. Now we're following along with him, and we're looking at my car. So you're in his Mustang, not mine, looking at the Martin Sim Racing Mustang ahead of us. Now watch how great it is to have medium tires versus hard tires coming into these S's, is what we call the S's. I mean, I'm able to just whip it through here. He's going wide. He runs off the track. He goes wide over here on this other side. He runs off the track. And we're just gaining time. And we're really pulling ahead. And that's why I said at the beginning, I think it's better to be on the faster tire late in the race, no matter what the situation is. I mean, I know first place you're not supposed to do that, but it just feels so good to have them on at the end of the race. But you can see him and Joshua are fighting hard here. I believe Joshua's in the Toyota. As we go through the chicane here, I'm rolling along, and I can feel the pressure, and they're back there. I'm trying to build my lead. I smoke it through the chicane right there pretty good. I got down to 115. I can take that thing and stay up to about 120, 119 miles per hour as my minimum speed. But I noticed the time differential between me and 64.5 rapidly increased. So let's watch what happens to Joshua. Bam! And 64.5 goes right through him. Woo! Boy, I bet he was clenching them tight right there. Bam! And then he goes right through him. I mean, he goes just right in time. And so, but all that action taking place allowed my lead to grow. So now I'm real comfortable. I know that I've got those guys under control. I'm on the medium tires, they're on the hard tires. I'm just going to keep building my lead. Every time I go through that chicane, the chicane of death is really, for me, it's a place where I feel like, doing this race and the one before it, I was always faster than most of the competition. Probably not faster than 1 or 2 or 3 up there, but everybody else behind me, and even, maybe even 3 and 2, I was faster than going to that chicane. So here we are on lap 10. You can see we're up to position 4, and we're going through the chicane of death right here. We take it pretty good, still about 115 miles per hour, so it's kind of being a little cautious right there, just trying not to wreck after what happened to me in my first race, which I didn't wreck in this chicane of death in the first race. I just went through it a lot faster than the cars in front of me, and then there was a gap, and I tried to split the gap, and it closed on me, and I shouldn't even went for it. It was really a bad racing move on my part, and I apologized, but It is what it is. If I'd have made it work out, it would have made for some great YouTube video. But you can see Peppers is in the pits, and there he is coming out, and he's in 3rd place and we're in 4th place. So now we've got 3 laps left, and we're following Peppers, and he's in the Mercedes, and I'm pretty sure he has the hard tires on. So if we catch Peppers, we'll get on the podium and get to drink the champagne. Now they're going into the chicane of death right here. Watch what happens on lap 11. I can smell blood in the water, and then bam! I hit the wall, get a little bit of damage, slows the car down, and boy, they were puckered tight right there. Look what happens from the cockpit. Bam! Hit the wall, man. I almost lost it. I just got overzealous and tried to make it all happen at one time, and it just did not work out in my favor. But I didn't hit the wall hard enough to really slow my car down to the point where I couldn't catch back up. And you got to remember, I am on the faster tire compound, so that's a good sign. So we're going to start lap 12 here, and we're still about the same distance from Peppers as we were when we get caught up to him after he came out of the pits. So that's a good thing. That's a good sign. We got plenty of time left. Now we're going to fast forward a little bit here. We're on lap 12. We're on lap 12, and we're approaching the chicane of death. So there again, this is going to be another opportunity. He's on the hard tires, I'm on the medium tires, so this is going to be my chance to get a little closer. As you can see, I'm cutting that gap down a little bit. So can we make the pass right here? Let's go for it. We hit it really good. He goes a little wide. We're going to come up right beside his Coca-Cola Mercedes, and can we get it done? I'm looking for him in my rear view mirror. I don't see him yet, and there I see him, and I know I've made the pass. And Peppers is in the rearview mirror. But we're going to cover the inside just in case on this final turn going into the last straightaway, and feel like we solidified 3rd place. We have completed the pass. Peppers is clearly behind us, and we're clearly on the faster tires, so we're in great shape starting lap 13. There's 14 laps, remember. So let's look at it from his perspective in his cockpit. He just goes a little funny into that first part of the chicane, and it caused him to go wide. He does not hit the wall. It looks like he might have, but I went back and looked. He did not hit the wall, but then he sees the old Martin Mustang go on by, and he knows with his situation on tires that we are in a good shape. Let's look at it in slow motion right here. He just comes too wide, swings around too wide, and he can't carry as much speed through, and plus he's on the hard tires. And you can see he doesn't hit the wall. He doesn't have any damage, but we're just able to carry so much more speed, partly because of medium tires, but also I'm telling you, I really practiced that chicane. What little I did practice, I practiced that part because I knew that would be a good opportunity to gain some ground on people and make up, for other areas that I'm not as good at. So I feel pretty good about it now. In 3rd place on lap 13, but there comes the fuel. The fuel is the next part, and that's what I'm about to show you, is how close and how razor thin we are to fuel. We run out of gas, and nothing else matters. And Peppers, he probably is hoping that we do run out of gas. You can see here, starting lap 13, this is my actual race footage. This isn't from the replay. So I wanted you to be able to see what I was doing. I cut to the fuel map portion down there in between the tach and the speedometer, and I got it on a 2. And I'm flipping back between 1 and 2 most of the time. When it's in a real curvy section, a lot of turns, I'll flip it to a 2 because I feel like, it's not really benefiting me that much to have it on 1. I mean, this is where I lose the least speed of having it on 2. And so it looks like, a quarter of a tank of fuel left, and you only have this lap and one more. But the way it is set up where it's 6 times the fuel use, it's really, really, really difficult to make it 2 laps with that kind of fuel. I'm short shifting. I'm definitely making sure I'm short shifting. And you can see Peppers, he's way back there now. I think you can see we've got about a 2nd lead over him. No chance of catching Andrew, who's got a 13-second lead. But the issue is the fuel. So that's what it's all about. That's what it all comes down to. We put ourselves in a good position to get on the podium, but I'm really worried at this point about the fuel. As you can see now, we're getting close to an 1/8 of a tank, and it says you got 1.2 laps left, and I'm approaching the finish line for that last lap. So if I don't drive just right, then I could get to where I do run out of gas right as I come across the finish line or right beforehand. So lap 14 right here at the very end, you can look at the fuel meter. It's blinking. I mean, there's virtually no fuel left as we go around the last turn. We've got a 2.7 second lead on Peppers, and everybody else, the guys in front of me, have already finished. So at this point, I just cut it all the way up to 6 on the fuel map just to make it across the finish line, and so because I know he's not going to catch up with me. and we do make it across, and we do get the podium again, and we're once again drinking the champagne. And look, I'm happy to drink the champagne this week, not like last week where it was a bad third place. This was a good third place for me. I didn't really feel like I had a chance to win this race, so I'll take third place. I'm real happy about it with the fuel strategy and all that. The Mustang did good to get third place. So this was a good third place finish for us. Let's look at our rankings now. First in Alabama, 6th and Ford, 231st regionally. Hey, that 6th and Ford makes me pretty happy. We got one more race left in this season. I want to say, let's make it interesting and see, can we not get into the top 5 on the Ford manufacturing charts. Top 5 in GT2 league, which is a big league, that would be great. So let's just see what we can do right there and get into that top 5, because, you know, I didn't really think I would make it that far, honestly, in my first time in GT2 league. So let's make that a goal for next week. Now look, here's my DR. We're almost halfway on the B. I think we lost a little bit this week, but here's the schedule. We're racing in Brazil next week, so that'll be interesting. But talking about that DR, you know, I think it's about the same as it was last week. I don't think I was quite to 50%, even though I said I was last week. I think probably finishing 12th that first race brought it down just a hair, and then finishing 3rd brought it back up. We may have gained just a little bit, but not much this week, so that's kind of disappointing. But we're still doing good when we don't make mistakes. And I think Brazil is going to work out and be a good track for us. Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards the 2018 Ford GT, but I'm definitely going to be trying out the Mustang too. I'm not even going to look at the Ford LM Spec 2 race car because I just don't think it's stable enough. So you guys, if you've listened to all this video, if you've watched this whole video, just go ahead and like and subscribe. Check out my other videos, and I'll be getting something out to you soon. If not this week, I'll definitely have a review of my race this weekend on Friday. So appreciate it. Y'all have a good week. Talk to you soon.